Here we go. Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in world history, got married a couple of weeks ago. It was a very simple ceremony, nothing big. Her and her husband, NFL safety Jonathan Owens, put on matching outfits, went down to their local courthouse, and got married before a judge. They signed some marriage certificates, took a few pictures, and went home, where they had a celebration with close family and friends. And that's it, nothing complicated. Now I, like most rational adults, thought it was a good thing, but she drew criticism. People attacked her for having a small ceremony. They figured a woman of her stature, wealth, and fame should have had a large wedding. They didn't like the fact that her dress only cost $119, that her shoes were only $35. They thought she and her husband should have worn something more expensive. They criticized her hair. They say she didn't do a good job of laying down her edges. You know, trivial. They lost sight of the fact that this is a 26-year-old celebrity doing what 26-year-old celebrities don't normally do. She found a good man, or at least the man she wanted, and she married him. And he's no slob or bum. He's a tall, handsome professional athlete, the kind of man they wish they could all have. You see, she didn't waste her prime years going through a slow phase. She wasn't out there twerking on the top of cars, living her best life in some state of eternal hot girl summer. She didn't make a video talking about how she chose not to marry a good man.
So earlier this year, I ended a relationship and cut off an engagement from a great man. He was a good man. He loved God. He was a praying man. He loved and adored me. He was there for me. He was handsome. He was well educated. He didn't have any kids. He checked all the boxes. But there was still something missing. And I just knew that I could not go through with this marriage. There was just something that did not connect. I felt that there should have been a connection between he and I in order for me to be his wife. And so I cut off the engagement. And it was so difficult because he was a good man. It's easy when a person is not good. You can justify why you cut things off, but when a person is truly a good person, it's hard to explain. So I found myself trying to explain it to family and friends, and they were asking me a whole bunch of questions that, I could not say, exactly why, other than the fact that I just did not feel the connection. There was something that was not there that I needed to be there in order for this to be my husband. And so I stopped trying to explain it, and I just trusted my decision, and I went on. But then I got an epiphany, and it was just like, have you ever been shoe shopping and you saw a nice pair of shoes and it's like, ooh, I love the color. I love the style. The heel is the right size and it's a reasonable price. Like it's on sale and it's a good shoe. But then when you approach the shoe, you see that it's a size 6 and you need a size 7. Does it take away from the fact that the shoe is a good shoe? Does it take away from the fact that you're getting a great deal for the quality? Does it take away from the fact that the heel is still the right size? It doesn't matter. All of that still makes the shoe is still good. But if it's not your size, it's not the shoe for you. And so that is what I had to accept. Yes, he was a good man. But what that feeling was is that he was not a great fit for me. It didn't take away from who he was, but it was just confirmation that he was not a good fit for me. And that leads me to say that some of us are trying to force relationships when we know they don't fit. It doesn't mean that the person is not good. It doesn't mean that they are not good-hearted people. It just means that they're not a good fit for you. So free them up. Don't continue to settle for things that you know is going to cause discomfort in the future. Me purchasing a size 6 shoe when I wear a 7 is discomfort. Don't do it.
Or do something as foolish as to brag about how she divorced one.
Because some people, when you say, oh, my husband and I are going our separate ways, they go, oh no,
Yeah.
oh, that's sad. But you actually see this as
a celebration.
A celebration.
I
in the
really
beginning.
do. I look at it as one of my friends, she sent this beautiful letter to me from a woman who got a divorce. And it's all about, this perspective, in my opinion, and just changing the narrative. My marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Corey some beautiful, amazing children. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration. So that's basically, how I'm looking at it now. And I feel like people when they look at marriage, that success equals longevity. But no, at the end of the day, it's, are they happy? Are they thriving? Are they growing? And I feel like that is what is most important. It's not about staying in something because however long you are in that situation, that equals success. It's about really, again, are you happy? Because life is really short.
Yeah.
Notice she make a video talking about how she fetishizes hood.
Girl, what do we gotta have to have Jada though? What do we gotta have? Like, what's on the list? Like, give us a checklist. But any
I feel like to be my, you gotta be hood. I only hood. I don't want nothing that's not hood. You gotta carry a gun. If you don't carry a gun, I don't want you in my space.
Jada, like, he couldn't be like a soccer player, like a $1 billion soccer player. Like, he gotta have that like gangsta greasy to him. But you are like a suburban girl. Like, you're suburban.
I know. I literally am a suburban girl, like private school, Catholic school. But I always was attracted to those.
So you just like a thug thing.
Yeah.
You just want her man to be from the trenches.
Yeah, and have a little bit of street in them because that takes you far. Like, seriously.
Mm-hmm. He has to get you, like, you want him to be able to, like, check you, like, stop putting on me, Jada.
You ready to go lay down? I gotta go.
Okay, Jada, bye.
By all indications, Simone Biles did the right thing. So why is this a point of controversy? Why are people criticizing her? Especially when you have celebrities like Rihanna, Keke Palmer, and Naomi Osaka, who were lauded and applauded when they announced they were having children out of wedlock. Children by men they had no intention of marrying. I don't remember anyone roasting them in their comment section to the point where they had to respond. Now, I think there are several reasons why, the obvious being jealousy. She did what a lot of women her age couldn't do or refused to do. She got married to the man she wanted. And yes, I'm singling out women because men, straight men, don't worry about wedding fashion. The average dude is cool with just going down to the courthouse and standing before a judge. We're not trying to spend a lot of money or time on a ceremony. The second reason why there's so much backlash is we, as a culture, have not seen it modeled out. We have no reference of success in our community any longer. We have very few people doing things the right way. And when I say we, I'm talking about Black people. We've lost the tradition of doing things the right way. Here's what I mean. I remember years ago seeing a wildlife documentary. I forgot the network. I don't know if it was Discovery or Nat Geo, but it was about a species of birds that live along the northern Pacific shoreline, somewhere between Alaska and Canada, if I remember correctly. And before I get started, I need to point out that these birds are known for pair bonding for life, one male to one female, and they raise generations of chicks together for as long as they're alive. So when there was an oil spill, unfortunately, most of the adults died, but researchers were able to save their eggs, hundreds of eggs, which gave them hope that they could one day hatch these eggs and raise the younglings. And by doing that, it would replenish the population. And that's what happened. They transported the eggs to a wildlife enclosure, hatched just about all of them, and raised the chicks into adults. But there was a problem. They noticed that the birds, once they reached maturity, weren't pair bonding, breeding, or brooding their young. They didn't exude any of the reproductive behaviors that the species was known for. Now, a scant few did get it right, but the overwhelming majority just stayed away from each other, which is significant because these birds were known for coupling and growing families. And it led to researchers having an epiphany. Not all animal behavior is instinctual. Much of it is learned. And they theorized that these birds learned how to pair bond, breed, and brood their young from watching their parents. But that tradition was lost. Their familial system was disrupted when all of their parents died, due to man intruding into their natural habitat with an oil spill, forcing them to be raised by researchers instead. In short, they didn't know how to create and maintain families because they didn't have a model to reference. Well, doesn't that sound like our community, the Black community? Our familiar system was disrupted by outside forces. Except when it comes to us, it wasn't an oil spill, it was the Great Society. When the government came in and subsidized single motherhood, it mutated our family dynamic. We went from being a patriarchal culture to this chaotic matriarchal structure that we have now, because that's what the government financially incentivized within our community, instead of two-parent homes. To the extent that now, single mother-led families are the primary family structure within the Black community. And we are now so far down this path that we're just like those orphaned birds. We don't know how to come together or raise families. Getting married at a young age before having a baby is a concept that has now become foreign to us, so much so that it offends us, even though our grandparents did it. But we're so far removed from them, like those birds, it seems odd. That's why we celebrate instead of condemning single motherhood, especially amongst our celebrity class, or why we praise women who talk about how they left perfectly good marriages. And this is why you see all these relationship channels all over social media talking about the same over and over and over and over and over again. 50-50, what do you bring to the table? What's your body count? Submission? Who's supposed to lead the relationship? Who eats first? Who comes first? Your mama, your wife, or your kid? Would you date a single mother? How much does a man have to make to marry you? It never ends. For a demographic with the lowest marriage rate, we have the most relationship gurus. And I'm sorry to say that most of them are dumb ass. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I'm tired of hearing the same talking points. We're like the Hebrew people after God used Moses to free them from Egypt. They were supposed to march into the promised land in under 2 weeks, but it lasted 40 years. They kept marching around the same damn mountain for years, for a generation. Then one day God came down and said, "Look, my servant Moses is dead. It's time to walk into the promised land. Enough of walking around in circles." Ladies and gentlemen, if you followed my channel for any length of time, you've seen my intro, and you know it features a clip from Kevin Samuels, because I was a huge fan of his. But my servant Moses is dead. Kevin Samuels is dead. It's time to move into the promised land. It's time to move on from these same arguments. Now I know some of you are Christians, church folk, and you don't like hearing that. You don't like the comparison, but
too bad.
I don't care. This is my platform. I'm gonna say whatever I wanna say, so cry about it. I'm not gonna stop on account of what makes your ass itch. But my point is, Kevin did his job. He had all of the discussions, talking points, instructions, and arguments. And now that he's gone, the only thing left for us to do is try it out. See if what he was talking about actually works. The point is, we're supposed to be done with these arguments. We're supposed to be done marching around this mountain. Yet here we are, having a discussion about whether or not a young black woman getting married before she carried is a good or bad thing. It's frustrating, but I digress. But yeah, that's the primary reason for all this hate that Simone Biles is getting. People are mocking what they don't understand. Now, for those of you listening to this video that are not members of my community, and you're saying, wow, the black community really is messed up, allow me to offer you this warning. Black people are the canaries in the mine. All of this stuff eventually happens to everyone. It's just visiting our community first. But you're not immune to this. Check the data. America as a whole is trending in the wrong direction. The single motherhood rate has skyrocketed across the country, and feminism, which created this culture, is now mainstream. We're just a generation or two ahead of you down the wrong path. So be warned, you're not immune from this. But that's all I have to say about it. What do you have to say about it? Leave a comment in the comment section and let's have a conversation. Okay, so you've heard me say this a million times. So if you like this video, please give it a like and leave a comment in the comments section and share the link on your social media platforms. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you'll get alerts every time I upload new content. This is the Layman's Journal. Thanks for stopping by. I'm out.
Hell! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
And while I do appreciate you sharing, subbing, and leaving comments, I'm going to ask that you take another step further in keeping the channel going. I set up a membership plan for those of you who would like to offer further support in the development of this channel. It's not anything expensive or special. I'm just asking for 99 cents a month, which is enough for me to continue doing the work that I do here.
Help me! Help me! Help me!
In the future, there will be additional tiers with added benefits, but for right now, I just need your support so that I can cover basic costs. So please, sign up so I can continue bringing you awesome content. This is the Layman's Journal. I'm out.